Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the resources you send us, the topics you're curious about, and we dive deep into them.
Exactly.
So today we're looking at something fundamental. It's about essential daily English sentences, specifically for beginners.
hmm
We've got this PDF source you shared, Essential Daily English Sentences.pdf. And our goal, our mission today, is to arm you with those common phrases you need to start having real conversations in English.
Yeah, it's like getting your starter pack for English conversation. These
Yeah.
aren't just random words. They're phrases that, actually work in everyday situations.
Right. It's about how they function in real life.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprising how just a few key phrases can get you quite far, actually.
Okay, let's jump in then. First section, conversation starters, greetings, how you kick things off.
These essentials.
First phrase on the list is, how's it going? Now, many of you probably know, how are you? So this is like a variation.
It is, yeah. A very, very common one, how's it going, is generally, well, more informal, more casual. Though you'll hear it in workplaces too, if the atmosphere is relaxed.
And the source mentions something about pronunciation.
Ah, yes. This is key. Native speakers often link the words, so it sounds more like, how's it going?
How's it going? Right.
Yeah, and that final G often gets dropped or is really soft. It's one of those little things that makes speech sound more natural, more fluid.
Good tip. And the reply the source suggests.
Nice and simple. Pretty good. How about you?
Haha. Keeps the conversation alive, doesn't it? Puts the ball back in their court.
Exactly. And the main advice here, for all these really, is to actually say them
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah, you've got to practice. Get your mouth used to making those sounds.
It's physical, isn't it? Like learning any skill. You have to practice the motions. It feels awkward at first, maybe.
Definitely. A bit clumsy, but then it gets easier.
Mm-hmm. Builds confidence, too.
Okay, number 2. What have you been up to?
This feels a bit more, I don't know, involved than just I.
It is.
Yeah.
It's inviting the other person to share a bit more, like, about their recent life, what's been happening.
That's right. The source gives a great example. Long time no see. What have you been up to? Perfect for when you bump into someone you haven't seen for a bit.
And the typical response given.
Not much. Just working a lot. A classic. So many people say that.
It's almost the default answer, isn't it? Not much. Could mean anything.
It really could. It's polite, concise, doesn't force you into a long story unless you want to give one.
Again, the advice is practice saying it. Let's
I'm-
try. Long time no see. What have you been up to?
Not much, just working a lot. It flows pretty well.
Yeah, that not much. It's sort of a placeholder sometimes, isn't it?
It can be. It signals nothing major to report, but leaves the door open if the other person wants to ask more. It's subtle.
Okay, and that leads nicely into phrase number 3.
Yeah.
I've been keeping busy.
Exactly. This is listed as a common response to, what have you been up to lately?
Makes sense.
Yeah, in a lot of English-speaking cultures, being busy is, well, almost expected. Or seen as a good thing, maybe.
Like a badge of honor. Yeah. So, I've been keeping busy is a safe, easily understood answer, even if busy just meant watching TV.
Ah, right. So you can kind of see a mini conversation forming here.
You can. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, not much.
Yeah, me neither, really. I've been keeping busy, though.
It's like a little script for catching up briefly.
Exactly. These first few, they seem simple, but they're the absolute foundation. Get these down, practice them, and you're on your way. Like basic chords on a guitar.
Nice analogy. Okay, let's move on. Talking about your day. 3 phrases here. First, I've got a lot on my plate today.
Mm-hmm. And you spotted it right away. Plate.
Yeah, sounds like food, but it's not, right? An idiom.
Spot on. It's an idiom. The image is a plate piled high with food, but it means you have lots of tasks, lots of responsibilities, things to do.
Okay.
The source reminds us, I've is just I have.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely not about eating.
The example is useful a coworker asking about lunch.
Right. Want to grab lunch?
Oh, I'd love to, but I've got a lot on my plate today. Maybe another time.
Perfect. Polite refusal. Everyone understands. That means you're swamped. We've all been there.
Definitely. Try saying that one aloud, too. Need that slightly regretful tone.
Yeah, tone matters. And idioms, they're great because they're vivid, but tricky for learners because the meaning isn't literal.
Gotta learn them in context.
Exactly what the source helps with.
Okay, next one for a tough day. I just need to get through today. Oh, I feel this one.
Me too.
Mm,
We all
uh,
have those days, right, where you're just watching the clock.
Totally.
So this phrase expresses that feeling perfectly without needing a long explanation. Someone asks, how's your day going?
And you might say, ugh, I just need to get through today. It's
Yeah.
been nonstop.
Exactly. It conveys that weariness, that desire for the day to just be over. Very common.
It's relatable, a shared feeling. Let's try that exchange. How's your day going?
Oh, I just need to get through today. Bit of a rough one.
Yeah, it gets the point across concisely.
And again, how you say it adds meaning. Little sigh, maybe?
Right. Communication is more than just words. Okay, the last one in this talking about your day section is much happier. That made my day.
Ah, yes. A lovely phrase. You use this when someone does something kind, thoughtful, maybe unexpected, that just gives you a real boost.
The example is great, someone bringing you coffee.
Mm-hmm. Really? For me? Oh, thank you. That made my day. It shows more appreciation than just thanks. It's like genuine delight.
Yeah, it emphasizes the impact of the gesture. The source also gives the alternative, you made my day.
Which is also great. Directly acknowledging the person. Makes them feel good, too.
Let's try that one. Hey, I brought you that pastry you like.
Oh, wow. Seriously. Thank you so much. You made my day. Feels nice to say, doesn't it?
It really does. Using language for positive connection.
That's a huge part of it.
Okay, changing gears again. Practical stuff. Ordering food or drinks. Essential skill.
Absolutely. First phrase. Could I get a item, please?
The polite way to order. Cafes, restaurants, bars.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
source gives examples. Could I get a salad, please? Or could I get a latte, please? The key bits are could I and please. Politeness markers.
So much better than just, I want a coffee.
Definitely. In English-speaking contexts, that softening with could is generally preferred. Good manners,
So you just slot in what you want. Let's practice. Excuse me, could I get a large cappuccino, please?
And a typical reply might be, sure thing. Anything else for you? Good to anticipate the responses, too.
True. Okay, next one. Helpful if something isn't quite right, especially clothes shopping. Do you have this in a different size?
Yeah, very useful. The source example is trying on a jacket. It doesn't fit.
So you'd say, I like this jacket, but do you have this in a different size?
Exactly. And as you hinted earlier, you could adapt this. Do you have this in blue? Do you have this in a smaller size?
Right. The basic structure works for different variations.
Mm-hmm. The example dialogue continues. Sure, what size do you need?
Mm.
Very standard interaction in a shop.
Let's practice that bit. Excuse me. I really like these shoes, but do you have them in a different size?
Let me check for you. What size are you looking for? Straightforward.
Gets the job done politely.
And noticing those patterns,
Yeah.
like do you have? Froob helps you form other questions too.
Good point. Okay, last one in this section, very practical today. Can I pay with a card?
Essential.
Yeah.
Especially if you're traveling or just in a new shop. Can't assume everywhere takes cards.
Right. The source notes that cards are common, like in the US, but not universal.
Exactly. So asking, can I pay with a card here? Or maybe, do you take cards?
Yeah.
It's just smart. Avoids awkwardness later.
The example response is reassuring. Yes, that's no problem.
Hopefully you hear that. Let's try it. Excuse me, just wondering, can I pay with a card?
Yep. We accept all major cards. Simple but crucial info.
These practical phrases really build confidence for everyday stuff.
Okay, on to the social side again. Making plans. 3 phrases here. First, are you free this weekend?
Classic opener for suggesting something. And the source clarifies free means available, right?
Right.
Not costing zero.
Important distinction.
Yeah. The example is short and sweet. Hey, are you free this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. What's up? Perfect. Opens the door without committing yet.
It's low pressure, gauges availability and interest. Let's try. Hiya, are you free on Saturday evening?
Possibly. Why? What did you have in mind? See, now we can discuss ideas.
Exactly. Test the waters gently.
Next phrase for suggesting an activity. Let's grab a bite to eat. Sounds casual.
That's the idea. It implies something informal, maybe quick. A sandwich, coffee and cake.
Yeah.
Maybe a light lunch, not usually a fancy long dinner.
Okay.
The example connects it to feeling hungry. Feeling kind of hungry, let's grab a bite to eat.
Sure, sounds good to me. Easy agreement there.
Perfect for spontaneous let's get food moments. Try it. Man, I'm starving, want to grab a bite to eat.
Definitely. I could eat. Where are you thinking? Plan forming.
And that leads us right into the next one for agreeing.
Which is
Sounds good to me.
simple, positive agreement. Like saying yes to a suggestion.
Exactly. The example's about meeting time. Let's meet at 7. Reply. Sounds good to me. Clear, concise, yes.
Although the source humorously notes you might need to check AM or PM.
Ah, yes. Context is everything. Don't want to be 12 hours early or late.
True that. Let's practice. Shall we aim for coffee around 10:30 tomorrow?
Sounds good to me. Easy peasy.
These planning phrases are key for building connections, aren't they?
Absolutely essential for a social life in English.
Okay, last category. Very important. Asking for help, especially in new places. First phrase. Excuse me, do you know where place is?
Your go-to for asking directions or finding locations politely. Excuse me is the crucial starting point.
Gets attention respectfully.
Then you slot in the place. Source gives examples like the train station or the nearest restroom.
Useful examples. The template is adaptable. Let's try the bank example. Excuse me, do you know where the nearest bank is?
And hopefully you get a helpful answer like, yes, there's one just down that street on the left.
Fingers crossed.
The structure, do you know where X is really fundamental for asking about locations. Master that, and you're set for many situations.
Okay, second phrase for getting help. I'm looking for something or someplace. How's this different?
It can feel a little softer, maybe less direct, like you're stating your situation first. The example illustrates it well. Hi, excuse me, I'm looking for the post office. Could you tell me how to get there? States the need, then asks for help.
It's a gentle approach. Let's try. Excuse me, sorry to bother you. I'm looking for a pharmacy.
Oh, sure, there's one just around the corner. Again, hopefully helpful. Using phrases like this shows you're making an effort.
People usually respond well to that.
Generally, yes.
Okay, final phrase. And maybe the most vital for any language learner. Could you say that again?
Absolutely indispensable. A lifesaver. Use it anytime you don't understand.
Someone speaks too fast.
Or uses words you don't know.
Or it's noisy.
Exactly. Could you say that again? Is always appropriate. The source uses the example of not catching a price. Someone says $15.95.
And if you didn't hear it clearly, you'd say, oh, sorry, could you say that again?
Precisely. It's much, much better than guessing or just nodding along.
Shows you want to understand. Let's try. Okay, your total is $23.80.
Sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah.
Simple, direct, super useful.
It really is. Gives the other person a chance to repeat, maybe slower or phrase it differently.
Shows engagement.
Wow, okay.
This one feels like it's asking for a bit more information.
It does, yeah. Usually you wouldn't lead with this immediately, unless maybe you haven't seen the person in a while. It invites them to share something about their recent life.
Like the example, long time no see, what have you been up to?
Right. And the reply there is, not much, just working a lot.
Which is, quite a common response these days, isn't it? Just working a lot.
It really is.
Hey.
Maybe says something about our modern pace of life, you know, always busy or feeling like we should be busy.
Or maybe it's just an easy, safe answer if you don't want to go into detail.
That too. It functions as a perfectly acceptable, concise response. Doesn't require a long story.
Okay, and that leads us nicely into the third phrase, I've been keeping busy. Often used as a direct answer to, what have you been up to?
Exactly. It's a neat little package. Acknowledges the question, confirms you've been active, but doesn't necessitate listing everything you've done.
The example shows that loop. What have you been up to lately?
And the answer? Oh, not much. I've been keeping busy. Polite closes the topic for now.
So those three give you a good start for just initiating contact, catching up briefly.
A really solid foundation for those initial moments.
Right. So moving on from greetings, the PDF dives into phrases for talking about your day. The first one is, I've got a lot on my plate today.
Ah, a great idiom.
Yeah, I like this one too. It's visual. You immediately get a sense of being overloaded.
And it's crucial to understand it is an idiom. It's not about food, obviously. It means you have many tasks, responsibilities. You're just swamped.
Yeah, the example they give is good. A coworker asks about lunch.
Right. Do you want to grab lunch later?
And the reply is, I'd love to, but I've got a lot on my plate today. Maybe another day.
See, it's a polite way to decline. You're giving a reason being busy without having to list every single meeting or deadline.
It definitely softens the no. Just saying no, I can't can sometimes feel a bit abrupt. This explains why.
Exactly. That indirectness is often important, especially in workplace or social settings. Maintains the relationship.
Okay, the next one for talking about your day takes a different turn. I just need to get through today.
Oof. Yeah, we've all had those days, haven't we?
Definitely. This phrase taps right into that feeling of just surviving a tough day. Stressful, difficult, overwhelming.
It conveys that sense of endurance. Just gotta make it to the finish line of the day. The example dialogue captures it well.
How's your day going?
And the response, ugh, I just need to get through today. It's been so busy. That initial, ugh, Adds so much feeling, too.
It really does. It signals exhaustion or frustration immediately. It's a very relatable sentiment.
And it often generates empathy, you know? The listener usually gets it. They might offer sympathy or just understand you're not having the best time.
Without you having to list all the reasons why it's a bad day.
Precisely. It's shorthand for I'm struggling a bit right now.
Okay, but on a brighter note, the next phrase is much more positive. That made my day.
Ah, yes. This is a lovely one.
It feels like more than just thank you, doesn't it?
Much more. It expresses a deeper level of appreciation. It signifies that someone's action had a genuinely positive emotional impact on you.
The coffee example in the PDF illustrates this perfectly. Someone brings you coffee unexpectedly.
Hey, I got you some coffee.
Really? For me? Oh, thank you. And then, that made my day.
It elevates the simple act of getting coffee. It tells the person their kindness, their small gesture really resonated and brightened things up significantly.
And the source also notes you can say, you made my day. Puts the focus right on the person.
Yes, attributing the positive feeling directly to them. It's a wonderful way to express gratitude and strengthen a connection. Feels good to say, feels good to hear.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered talking about the good days and the tough days. Now, let's shift to something very practical. Ordering food or drinks.
Essential skills.
First up, could I get an item, please? Seems straightforward, but the politeness factor is key here.
Absolutely. Using could I get is a standard, polite way to order in cafes, bars, restaurants. It's a request, not a demand.
The example is simple. Hi, could I get a medium latte, please?
And the likely response, sure. Do you want anything else? Clean, efficient, polite.
And that word please at the end. Non-negotiable for politeness.
Oh, completely. It costs nothing and makes a huge difference in tone.
No.
Turns it from an order into a respectful request. You'll always want to add that.
Good tip. Okay, next in this category, something for shopping. Do you have this in a different size?
Ah, the eternal clothing store question.
Happens all the time, right? You find something you like, but it's just not the right fit.
Exactly. This phrase is your go-to. It's direct, clear, and polite. The example. I like this jacket, but do you have this in a different size?
And the likely follow-up from the staff.
Yeah.
Sure, what size do you need?
Yeah.
Very standard interaction.
It just gets straight to the point without any fuss. You're stating a need, asking for an alternative.
Keeps it simple. Okay, final one in this practical section. Can I pay with a card?
Still relevant, even now.
Yeah, the source mentions that in the U.S., cards are super common, but it's still a good question to ask, just in case. You never know.
Exactly. Small shops, market stalls, maybe temporary technical issues. It's always safer to confirm before you get to the checkout. Avoids that awkward moment.
The example is simple. Excuse me, can I pay with a card here?
Yes, that's no problem. Or, occasionally, sorry, cash only, which is why you asked.
Definitely avoids potential hassle for everyone involved. Good habit to get into, especially when traveling.
For sure.
All right, changing gears again. Now we're talking about making plans with people. First phrase. Are you free this weekend?
A classic opener for suggesting getting together.
And the clarification in the source is important. Free means available time-wise, not cost-wise.
Yes, that's a key distinction for learners. It's about having unscheduled time. The example dialogue is basic. Hey, are you free this weekend?
Yeah, let's do something.
Beep. It's an initial probe. Doesn't commit to anything specific yet, just gauges availability and interest.
It's quite low pressure, isn't it? You're not immediately suggesting a 5-hour hike or an expensive dinner.
Exactly. It opens the door. If they say yes, then you can figure out the specifics. If they say no, no big deal.
Good strategy. Next phrase for planning. Let's grab a bite to eat.
Another really useful, common one.
And the nuance here, as the source points out, is that it usually means something casual, right? Not a fancy meal.
Generally, yes. Grab a bite implies something relatively quick and informal. Lunch, a snack, maybe coffee and cake. Not usually a formal evening dinner.
The example reflects that casual feel. I'm feeling kind of hungry.
Let's grab a bite to eat.
Sure, let's do it. Easy, spontaneous.
It suggests a lower commitment of time and formality, making it easier for people to say yes on the spur of the moment. It's often more about the company than the food itself.
Makes sense. And the final one in this planning section. Sounds good to me.
The universal agreement phrase.
Simple, effective. Use it when someone suggests something and you're happy with it.
Exactly. The example is, let's meet at 7.
Sounds good to me. Done. Plan agreed.
And the source adds a funny note about context, usually telling you if it's 7 a.m. or p.m.
Context is everything. But the phrase itself is crystal clear. It means, yes, I agree to that plan. No ambiguity.
Signals you're on board, ready to go. Very useful.
Okay, final category. Phrases for asking for help. Super important. The first one is, excuse me, do you know where place is?
Your absolute lifeline when you're lost or looking for something specific in an unfamiliar place?
That, excuse me, at the start is vital, isn't it? For politely getting someone's attention.
Crucial. You don't just walk up and demand information. Excuse me signals a polite interruption. Then you ask your question.
Example. Excuse me, do you know where the nearest bank is?
Sure, it's right around the corner, hopefully.
Very practical for travelers or anyone new to an area.
The source also mentions maybe showing something like a hotel card can help clarify.
Yeah, visual aids are great, especially if there's a bit of a language barrier or maybe pronunciation uncertainty. Makes it really clear what you're looking for. Good point. Second phrase for asking for help. I'm looking for something someplace.
This feels a little softer, maybe less direct than do you know where.
I think so too. It's like you're stating your situation first, inviting help.
Right. It signals, I need assistance finding this. The example. Hi, excuse me. I'm looking for the pharmacy. Is there one nearby?
It seems less like putting someone on the spot. If they don't know, they can just say so without feeling how they failed a quiz.
Exactly. It opens the door for them to help if they can, maybe even offer alternative suggestions. It feels a bit more collaborative.
Nice alternative. And the last phrase, possibly the most important for any language learner. Could you say that again?
Oh, absolutely essential. Non-negotiable. You will need this.
Because people talk fast, use words you don't know, have different accents.
Yeah.
It's inevitable you won't catch everything first time.
And there's zero shame in asking for repetition. It's much, much better than nodding along and having no idea what was just said.
The example used is a price. A shopkeeper says, it's $14.75.
And the response, could you say that again? Maybe they said it quickly, maybe the number is complex. This phrase clarifies.
The source calls it a key part of your English toolbox. And that feels right. It prevents misunderstandings.
It really does. It shows you're engaged and you want to understand. It keeps communication going rather than letting it break down. Don't hesitate.
It's crucial.
Yeah, it bounces it back.
Exactly. It shows you're engaged in the conversation and interested in the other person, keeping the interaction balanced.
So maybe we should try saying it, just to get the feel.
Good idea. Okay. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
There you go. Feels natural, right?
Yeah, saying it out loud really makes a difference. Okay, so the next conversation starter is, what have you been up to?
Ah, okay. Bit more involved.
This one feels like it digs a little deeper than just a casual hello, you know?
It does, yeah. What have you been up to? Basically asks about someone's recent activities or like experiences. It's a way to invite them to share a bit more about what they've been doing lately. The example the source gives is perfect for illustrating this. Long time no see. What have you been up to? You'd use this when you're reconnecting with someone after a while.
Right, someone you haven't seen in ages. And the suggested reply is quite, well, to the point. Not much, just working a lot.
Huh, yeah.
Seems like that's a pretty universal experience these days.
Absolutely. Not much. It's just a brief way of saying there haven't been any, major developments.
Okay.
And just working a lot reflects the reality for so many people. It's concise, but still offers a little bit of information.
Let's try that little exchange then.
Sure. So maybe you start.
Okay. Long time no see. What have you been up to?
Not much. Just working a lot. See? It just flows. And notice how the question naturally prompts a slightly more detailed response than, say, how's it going?
Definitely. Yeah, it invites a bit more. And that leads us nicely to our next phrase. I've been keeping busy.
Ah, yes. The busyness response.
The source points out that this is a really common answer to what have you been up to lately? It feels like a slightly more maybe proactive way of saying not much.
That's a great way to put it, actually. I've been keeping busy suggests an ongoing state of being occupied, right? Whether it's with work or hobbies or other responsibilities. It taps into that modern feeling of always having things to do. The example exchange is, what have you been up to lately? Oh, not much. I've been keeping busy.
Right.
You can see how these phrases kind of build upon each other in a natural conversation.
It's interesting, though, isn't it, how even these simple phrases can give you a little window into the culture, the sort of constant emphasis on being busy.
Oh, yeah.
It almost feels like a default state for many people, like you should be busy.
It can be, yeah. Sometimes it can even be a subtle way of indicating that, you're important or that your time is valuable. But honestly, In most everyday conversations, it's simply a common way to describe what you've been doing.
Just a standard reply.
Pretty much. Let's try this whole exchange. You ask me.
Okay. What have you been up to lately?
Oh, not much. I've been keeping busy.
Moving on then to our next category, which I think is something we can all relate to. How to talk about your day.
Yes, the daily grind or the daily joys.
Exactly. The first phrase here is, I've got a lot on my plate today. I really like this one because it creates such a clear mental image.
It does, doesn't it? And as the source rightly points out, we're definitely not talking about actual food.
No burgers piled high.
No. To have a lot on your plate is an idiom. It just means you have many tasks or responsibilities or maybe problems to deal with at the same time.
Right. Swamped.
Exactly. And that contraction I've is short for I have, which is a key piece of grammar for beginners to recognize too.
Good point. And the example of declining lunch is so practical. Do you want to grab lunch later?
In the reply, I'd love to, but I've got a lot on my plate today. Maybe another day.
It's just a polite and concise way to say you're busy without having to list everything you need to do. It just gets the message across effectively.
Oh, really does.
Let's practice that little exchange. Do you want to grab lunch later?
I'd love to, but I've got a lot on my plate today. Maybe another day.
It sounds very natural, doesn't it? Very common.
It does. And that politeness is so important in social interactions, isn't it? This phrase acknowledges the invitation while clearly stating your lack of availability without being, like, overly negative or blunt.
Yeah, it softens the no.
Mm.
Okay, the next phrase for talking about your day is something I think we've all felt at some point. I just need to get through today.
Oof. Yes. The survival mode phrase.
It definitely sounds like it's reserved for those tougher days.
Exactly. This phrase is used when you're experiencing a difficult or stressful or just generally challenging day. It conveys a sense of just wanting the day to be over.
Right.
The example provided is, how's your day going? And the response, ugh, I just need to get through today. It's been so busy.
That so busy really emphasizes the feeling, doesn't it? Like you're just wading through it.
It does. It's a way to acknowledge that things are tough without necessarily going into all the specifics. It's almost a way of saying, hang in there, self. I'll be glad when this day is over.
Let's try that one. How's your day going?
I just need to get through today. It's been so busy. You can almost hear the weariness in that response, can't you?
Yeah, you really can. The tone would be key there.
Definitely. And the intonation would likely be a little lower, perhaps with a slight sigh implied. Those nonverbal cues, even implied ones, add so much to the meaning.
Okay, our final phrase in this talking about your day category is a much more positive one, thankfully. That made my day. Okay.
Lovely phrase, yes.
Yeah. This is what you say when something good happens, even if it's something small, right?
Absolutely. That made my day is used when someone does something kind or thoughtful that brings you joy, lifts your spirits. The coffee example from the source is perfect. Hey, I got you some coffee.
Really? For me? Oh, thank you. That made my day.
It just shows genuine appreciation and highlights the positive impact of the other person's action. And the source also mentions you can say, you made my day, which is equally effective, just slightly different focus.
Yeah, focusing on the person versus the action. It's such a lovely phrase to both hear and to say, I think.
I agree.
It really emphasizes the positive effect someone has had. Let's try that exchange. Hey, I got you some coffee.
Really? For me? Oh, thank you. That made my day.
It's a simple interaction, but it carries a lot of warmth, doesn't it?
It really does. And taking the time to notice and acknowledge those small positive moments can really boost everyone's spirits, I think.
Definitely. Okay, now we're moving into a very practical area, ordering food or drinks.
Essential skill.
Absolutely. The key phrase here is, could I get an item, please? The source makes a point about how polite this structure is.
Yes, absolutely. Using could I get, please, is a very polite and, frankly, standard way to order in cafes, bars, restaurants, you name it.
Why could? What makes it polite?
Well, could is a modal verb, and it softens the request. It makes it less direct than saying, I want, or, heaven forbid, give me.
Right, less demanding.
Exactly. And, of course, adding please is just fundamental politeness in English. The example is straightforward. Hi, could I get a medium latte, please?
And the response, sure. Do you want anything else?
See? It's a straightforward and universally understood way to place an order. There's really no room for misunderstanding there.
Let's practice that. Hi, could I get a medium latte, please?
Sure. Do you want anything else? Simple and effective, can't go wrong.
Nope.
And, just remembering to use a polite tone of voice will only enhance the positive impact of those words. Makes the interaction smoother.
Good point. Okay, our next category is all about clothes shopping, another practical one.
Very practical, especially if you like shopping.
The first phrase is, do you have this in a different size? This is a lifesaver when you find something you like, but it doesn't fit quite right.
Absolutely, a total lifesaver. When you're trying on clothes and the thighs isn't what you need, do you have this in a different size? Is the direct and appropriate question to ask a store employee.
Mm-hmm.
The example given is, I like this jacket, but do you have this in a different size?
And the likely response, sure. What size do you need?
Exactly. It clearly communicates your interest in the item while addressing the problem of the incorrect size. Straightforward.
It gets straight to the point and avoids any, awkwardness about it not fitting. Let's try that one. I like this jacket, but do you have this in a different size?
Sure. What size do you need? It's such a useful phrase to have ready when you're shopping, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Saves a lot of miming.
It is indeed. Knowing how to ask this smoothly can make the whole clothes shopping experience much less frustrating.
Okay, the second phrase for shopping is, can I pay with a card?
The payment question. Crucial.
The source mentions that while using a card is super common in many places, especially, say, in the US, it's still a good question to ask in other countries or maybe even in smaller shops anywhere.
That's right. While electronic payments are becoming more and more widespread, it's always a good idea to double-check if a business accepts card payments, especially if you don't happen to have cash on you.
Right. Avoid that awkward moment at the till.
Exactly. Can I pay with a card is the standard way to ask. The example is, excuse me, can I pay with a card here?
Yes, that's no problem.
Simple as that. It's polite and directly addresses the payment method.
It's a simple question, but it can definitely save you from an embarrassing situation at the checkout. Let's practice that. Excuse me, can I pay with a card here?
Yes, that's no problem. A really helpful phrase for when you're traveling too, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Essential for travel.
Definitely. And in some cultures or smaller places, cash might still be preferred, so it's always respectful just to ask up front.
Good point. Okay, now we're moving on to making plans with other people. Social stuff.
Yeah, connecting with others.
The first phrase is, are you free this weekend? This source makes a really important point here. When we say free, we're talking about whether you have any plans, not whether something costs money.
That's a crucial distinction for language learners.
Yeah.
Absolutely vital. When you ask, are you free this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
You're asking if the person has any prior commitments or scheduled activities for that time.
You're asking about their time, their availability.
Precisely. It's a general way to see if they're available to potentially do something together. The example is nice and simple. Hey, are you free this weekend?
Yeah, let's do something.
See? It's a casual way to start suggesting plans, opening the door.
It's open-ended too, isn't it? It doesn't box the other person into agreeing to a specific activity right away.
Exactly.
Let's try that. Hey, are you free this weekend?
Yeah, let's do something. It just sets the stage for figuring out the details later.
Okay.
It's the initial step in seeing if your schedules might align.
Gotcha. The next phrase for making plans is, let's grab a bite to eat.
Another really common casual one.
The source explains that this is a casual suggestion for a light meal. Definitely not like a formal dinner invitation.
Yes, let's grab a bite to eat is very informal. It's an invitation to have a quick and relaxed meal together. Could be lunch, could be a snack, or just something light in the evening.
Right.
The focus is more on spending time together in an easygoing way rather than having a fancy dining experience.
So low pressure.
Very low pressure. The example is, I'm feeling kind of hungry. Let's grab a bite to eat.
Sure, let's do it.
It's a very common and friendly way to suggest getting food. Super useful.
It implies something easy and without much commitment, time-wise or money-wise usually. Let's practice that. I'm feeling kind of hungry. Let's grab a bite to eat.
Sure, let's do it. It sounds very natural and inviting, doesn't it?
It does. Very relaxed.
It does. And your tone of voice should obviously match that casual, friendly intention.
Okay. Our final phrase for making plans is a great one for agreeing with someone. Sounds good to me.
Simple, positive, effective.
It is simple, but really effective, yeah.
Sounds good to me is just a straightforward way to express your agreement with a suggestion or a plan someone's proposed.
Like the example, let's meet at 7.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
It indicates that you're happy with the proposed time or arrangement. Now, the source humorously points out that you might, need to clarify if it's 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. depending on the context.
Oh, yes, good
But
point.
generally, it's a clear way to say, yes, I agree.
It's concise and positive, confirms the plan, Let's try that. Let's meet at 7.
Sounds good to me.
Easy peasy.
Exactly. It keeps the conversation moving forward and confirms that everyone is on the same page. No ambiguity.
Right. Now we're on to our last category for today. Phrases for asking for help.
Also incredibly important. We all need help sometimes.
We do. The first one is very polite. Excuse me, do you know where something is?
Yes, starting with, excuse me, is a really important element of politeness when you need to approach and ask a stranger for help. Can't skip that.
No, definitely signals you need their attention politely.
And then, do you know where planner is? Is a direct yet respectful way to inquire about the location of a place, or maybe an object. The example. Excuse me, do you know where the nearest bank is?
Sure, it's right around the corner.
A very standard and effective way to get directions or information. You'll hear and use this a lot.
It shows that you're being considerate of their time and, being respectful by asking politely. Let's practice that. Excuse me, do you know where the nearest bank is?
Sure, it's right around the corner. A fundamental phrase for navigating new places, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't manage without it.
Indeed. And in any unfamiliar environment, it's an absolutely essential tool to have in your pocket.
Okay, the next phrase is another polite way to ask for help from someone you don't know. I'm looking for something or someplace.
Right, I'm looking for is maybe a slightly less direct way to ask for help compared to, do you know where Kalendi is?
How so?
Well, it explains your situation first, I'm looking for, and then it kind of invites the other person to offer assistance if they can. The example is, hi, excuse me, I'm looking for the pharmacy. Is there one nearby?
Ah, okay. That addition, is there one nearby, makes it more direct again.
Exactly. It encourages a more specific and helpful response, rather than just leaving it hanging.
So it's maybe a gentler way to approach someone without immediately putting them on the spot with a direct question.
Precisely. Let's try that. Hi, excuse me, I'm looking for the pharmacy. Is there one nearby?
Oh, yes, it's right around the corner.
It feels a little less demanding somehow.
It does. It gives the other person just a moment to understand your need and then offer help if they're able to.
Okay, our final phrase, and honestly a really crucial one for anyone learning English is, could you say that again?
Oh, massively important, yes.
The source really emphasizes how valuable this simple question can be. Absolutely. Could you say that again? Is incredibly useful when you don't understand what someone has said. Maybe they spoke too quickly.
It happens all the time.
Or they used words you haven't learned yet. Or maybe there was just too much background noise. And again, using could makes it a polite request.
Right. Not what.
Definitely not just what. The example in a shop is so realistic. Excuse me, how much is this?
It's $14.75.
Could you say that again? It's a perfectly normal and acceptable thing to ask. Nobody will mind.
No, absolutely. It shows that you're engaged and you really want to understand and gives the other person a chance to repeat, maybe slower, or clarify.
Exactly. Let's practice that. Excuse me, how much is this?
It's $14.75.
Sorry, could you say that again?
It's a phrase that can prevent so many misunderstandings, honestly.
It really can. Don't ever be afraid to use it.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of your commitment to learning and communicating effectively.
Well, wow, we've really covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? Taking a proper deep dive into these essential daily English sentences.
We really have.
From those first greetings right through to asking for assistance when you're lost or confused. It's quite amazing how these seemingly straightforward phrases really form the foundation of so many everyday conversations.
They truly do. And understanding not just what these phrases mean, but also when and how to use them.
Yeah, the context.
Along with those all-important pronunciation tips we touched on, like the linking and dropping sounds. That's absolutely key to building real confidence in speaking English. These phrases provide a fantastic starting point for beginners to begin communicating in a whole wide range of common everyday situations.
And remember, for all of you out there listening who want to keep learning and practicing this stuff, the original source, speakenglishwithvanessa.com, has that fantastic free PDF worksheet we mentioned.
Oh yeah, the worksheet.
It includes all 15 of the phrases we've discussed today, plus they threw in 5 bonus phrases specifically for getting to know people better.
Ooh, nice bonus.
And even that quiz to test what you've learned. It's a really valuable resource to have at your fingertips, I think.
It really is. Having those extra phrases for starting slightly deeper conversations can be incredibly beneficial as you become more comfortable. Getting past the basics.
Right.
And the quiz is just a great way to reinforce everything we've talked about in this deep dive. We definitely recommend checking it out if you can.
So here's what I'd suggest. Maybe a little call to action for you listening. Try to use just one or two of these phrases in your next English interaction.
Yeah, start small.
It could be as simple as saying, "How's it going?" to someone you meet. Remember how it sounds? Like, "How's it going?" Crew, keep in mind the typical responses, "Pretty good," and just give it a try. See how it feels.
Exactly. Don't worry about making mistakes. Please don't. That's a natural and, frankly, essential part of the learning journey. Nobody gets it perfect first time.
So true.
The more you practice using these phrases in real conversations, the more natural they'll feel and the more confident you'll become. Think about the kinds of situations you encounter each day where these phrases might fit, and maybe mentally prepare to use them.
Good tip. Visualize it first.
Yeah, a little mental rehearsal can really help.
Okay. And on that note, let's leave you with this final thought. Every significant journey begins with a single step, right? Or in this case, perhaps a single well-chosen phrase.
Nice analogy.
Mastering these fundamental expressions isn't just about memorizing words. It's really about unlocking the door to countless conversations and ultimately building meaningful connections in English.
That's the real goal, isn't it? Connection.
Absolutely. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep speaking.